Welcome to Blush Rose Tarot. If this video found you today, maybe you've been wondering, will we get back together? That's the question that I keep hearing. Will we get back together? If that is something that's been weighing on your mind, I want you to hold that person in your mind while I shuffle. And we're going to get into the cards and see what answers they have to give. Okay, the Lovers. This is actually a really beautiful place to begin. When people first see this card, they often think it simply means romance, but in tarot, the Lovers is much deeper than that. This card is ruled by Gemini, the sign of communication, curiosity, and duality. Notice Adam and Eve standing beneath the angel. Between them stands the tree of knowledge, while behind Eve is the tree of life wrapped by the serpent. This isn't just about attraction, it's about choice. A relationship that changes who you are. Major Arcana cards represent life's defining lesson. So right away, this tells me this was not a casual connection. This relationship carried meaning. It asked both people to grow. And we got another Major Arcana. This is interesting. The Wheel of Fortune reminds us that relationships don't exist in isolation. Timing matters. Life changes, people evolve. Look at the wheel itself. It never stops turning. Sometimes two people meet at exactly the wrong time, even if they may be the right people for one another in many other ways. This card is saying that circumstances, not just feelings, have played a role in the story. And now our energy shifts to the Eight of Pentacles. Pentacles belongs to the element of Earth. Earth asks the question, what can actually be built? Look at the craftsman. He isn't rushing. He isn't distracted. He's creating something one pentacle at a time. So the eight's reminding us that healthy relationships aren't sustained by chemistry alone. They require consistency, communication, accountability, and effort. So if reconciliation is possible, this card is saying it won't happen through hope alone. It will require both to actively build something differently than what existed before. Now we hit up our third Major Arcana. We're getting the Sun. This is one of the most joyful cards in tarot. The child rides freely beneath the sun with no armor, no mask, no fear. The wall behind them represents everything that's already been overcome. Sunflowers turn towards the light, reminding us that growth naturally follows clarity. If I saw only this card, I'd say there's genuine warmth here. Honesty, affection, the possibility of seeing one another clearly. But it's not the last card, so the story isn't over yet. All right, now we're going to arrive at a 5. Fives are a number of change. They disrupt the stability that fours create. The 5 of Swords isn't always about arguments. Sometimes it's about pride, misunderstandings, needing to be right, or even protecting yourself so fiercely that the connection becomes impossible. Notice how one person walks away holding the sword while the others are left defeated. Everyone loses something here. So this is asking, what was the real cost of winning? And we come into then another 5. So whenever tarot repeats a number, I stop and I pay attention. The cards are emphasizing a lesson. The 5 of Cups is grief, it's regret, it's disappointment. Notice how this figure stares only at the 3 spilled cups. Behind them, 2 cups are still standing, so hope hasn't disappeared. It simply just isn't being seen yet. So this card's reminding us that the pain often narrows our perspective. So if we take a step back and look at this as a whole, we have 3 Major Arcana, 2 5s, and 1 8. So that combination tells me that this connection wasn't ordinary. The Major Arcana describe a relationship that carried genuine meaning. The Lovers say there was a real bond. The Wheel of Fortune says life introduced circumstances that neither person completely controlled. And the Sun tells me that beneath everything, there's still warmth, there's honesty, the possibility of seeing one another clearly. But then we encounter 2 5s, conflicts, miscommunication, regrets. These cards don't tell me that the love disappeared. They do tell me something happened that neither heart fully recovered from. And then finally, sitting between all of the cards is the 8 of Pentacles. And I don't think that that's by accident. It's the bridge. It's the only minor arcana before the Sun. And it asks a very powerful question. If given another chance, would both people be willing to do the work? So will you get back together? Here's what I see. I don't think what this is saying is that the relationship ended because there was no love. The very first card was the Lovers. That tells me the connection mattered. The Wheel of Fortune is telling me outside circumstances or timing changed the course of this relationship. And the Sun is saying that there's still light between these two people. There is warmth here that doesn't simply just go away. It does not disappear. But the cards are also honest, and the Five of Swords and the Five of Cups shows unresolved conflict and lingering hurt. So that's saying that pain, pride, disappointment, or words left unsaid are still standing between these two people. What I do find most important is the Eight of Pentacles sits in the middle of this, and it's almost as though the cards are saying that the future of this connection doesn't rest on feeling alone, it rests on effort. So if both people are willing to learn from what happened, communicate differently, and rebuild trust one step at a time, then there is room for reconciliation. But if the same patterns that created the Five of Swords remains unchanged, those patterns are likely to repeat. So my answer isn't a simple yes or no, but I will say that the connection still carries significance. The possibility hasn't disappeared, but getting back together is less about fate bringing two people back into the same room and more about whether both people are willing to become different versions of themselves once they get there. Sometimes the most important answers aren't always found where the story ends, but in understanding why it unfolded the way that it did. All right, that's what I have here for you today. I hope this helps. Until next time, take what resonates and let the rest pass.